I'm tired of people commenting that I inflate my runtime with like unnecessary content. God. The Way of Shadows by Brent Weeks. I just want to get this out of the way. Some of the worst cover art I've ever seen for a fantasy series, period. Just these awkwardly posing dude with knives. It's just, I don't like it at all. Like, I don't want to carry that book around. It looks weird and cringy. But the book itself was really solid. That's actually kind of my first real conclusion when I put down the first book in the Night Angel series. It's just really solid all the way around. I found everything to be on a scale of good to really good. Nothing really great or different or pushing any boundaries of fantasy. This book really just went through the motions of doing what it wanted to do extremely well. The characters were fairly well written and had good depth to them, good motivation, were believable. The world felt gritty and real, but I was never really wowed or surprised by anything. And I just don't really like the setting of Assassins that much. I always just kind of take it like the whole bad man college humor thing.
Compromise your footing. I see water.
I can't take it very seriously. And I don't know why. It just doesn't click with me. Just the whole assassin, I'm so in the shadows, stealthy night thing. But I can totally see how if you're into that kind of character, this series will fit right up your alley. Because just this first book, this beginning, The Way of Shadows, was so well done. It's actually the best assassin-based kind of series I've read so far. Brent Weeks did a really good job here of crafting a world with assassins that, yes, it goes down a lot of the same paths that previous series have done, but it does them in a more fleshed out way that, in my opinion, is far superior than a lot of the competition when it comes to this specific subgenre of fantasy. The kind of darker, stealthy, murderous main character who's been pushed into a lifestyle he doesn't necessarily enjoy, but has embraced, is a very interesting way to have your protagonist go. Am I totally in love with this series? No. I don't think it's as good as Lightbringer. In fact, I think it's pretty clear that this was Lightbringer's predecessor. Everything that this book has done well, Lightbringer does great. Now, I am interested to see if the next couple books in this series do step it up and get to that same level that Lightbringer by Brent Weeks is at. I'm hoping I can see Brent Weeks evolve the way I did Brandon Sanderson by going through his books, but it's just all speculation. Kylar was perfectly serviceable as a protagonist, and I was interested in his arc throughout every page. It was never boring, and every character felt necessary and real. There is not really one bad thing I can say about these books, but there's not really anything that great. It's just consistently solid, which is actually pretty refreshing for me because I very often, when I read a fantasy book, one really bad aspect of it will seriously drag it down. Look at my reviews of the second era of Mistborn for that. But this suffered like that in no way. The Way of Shadows was just very good, and that's my review of it. It's very good out of 10. Not great. Just very good. I know this was very heavily requested, and I will be starting the second book very soon. I just don't understand why this series seems to be more popular than Lightbringer. It seems to have sold much more when Lightbringer is so much more ambitious and original and has, so far to me, a lot more fleshed out characters with more depth. I'm hoping it's because book 2 and 3 really push limits where book 1 failed to. Because that's the only thing The Way of Shadows was missing for me. It just didn't push any boundaries that I really like to see an author as talented as Brent Weeks attempt to do. So that is my overall review of The Way of Shadows. I'm very optimistic for this series because something with this solid a foundation can only go up. So that is what I have to say about that. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to support the channel. Check out my previous video if you want to see where my channel will be heading for the next few months. I'm doing a tournament. It's going to be fun. And have a great day, y'all. Peace.